What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of the new Amazon original documentary, Pink, All I Know So Far. Now, this, of course, is directed by Michael Gracey. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on the video that you watch, including this one. So, Pink is, of course, a musician. She is a rock star, a pop star, a mom, however you want to look at her. She's been around since the early 2000s, maybe even before that. Had some very big hits, very #1 hits, and she's somebody that's also broken boundaries, whether it be through the LGBT community or, just the way she looks at life, the way she acts towards her crowd and her fans. She is always somebody that always seems down to earth, even though she has millions upon millions of followers and fans and so on and so forth. And throughout her career, she married Carrie Hart, who was a BMX bicyclist, and she had 2 kids, Willow and Jameson. And in essence, what this documentary is about her tour that was the Beautiful Trauma tour based off her album. And so with that said, through this documentary, we see kind of the inner workings of how her tour works, how her home life works, how, her kids are raised on the road with their husband who kind of follows her around. And it basically shows what it's like to be a pop star or a rock star, what it's like to live on the road, and what it's like to not only be a mother, but how to control, 2 young kids in a world where you're super famous. And so with that said, to break down this documentary, it's very similar to something you've seen, many times before, like with Billie Eilish and of course, Michael Jackson, where you go into a very in-depth look into this world, this culture, what it's like to be Pink, what it's like to have kids, what it's just like to be that person that everybody looks upon. There's points where she'll read like her Instagram post or her tweets, and we get the understanding that she has meant a lot more to a lot of people than sometimes she realizes, because she's always influenced by, she has managers and, people, roadies and so on and so forth. So her view of life is a lot different. So with that said, does this documentary work on that aspect, on the idea of a lot of these other documentaries is about musicians like Billie Eilish and stuff like that? And I will say this documentary does have compassion. It does have heart. It does show us the inner workings of somebody who's very, very famous. Now, with that said, and to me personally, I wasn't that involved with it, just for the simple fact that I'm not like the biggest Pink fan, but I still enjoyed it for the simple fact that I like watching people who are very famous seem to have some kind of heart when they are around like their kids or their husband or wife, so on and so forth. So the moments that it's focused just on the 2 kids and how, over the top and silly they can be, how much, she works really hard to not only do her like daytime job, but to be there for the kids and so on and so forth, that's when this documentary really works. It's when you get into the other stuff like the music moments that to me personally, I just lose kind of the investment in, because I've seen that a lot of times before in other documentaries, so it's nothing really new, it's nothing surprising. I do like seeing behind the scenes stuff, but there's just not enough there for me to really garner any interest. So like I said, when it focuses on the family dynamic instead of the kind of the theatrical dynamic, that's where it really does work for me. And it's always been like that with these documentaries, even with like the Rush documentary, when it focuses on the musicians talking about, because Rush is my favorite band, when it talks about the musicians talking about how they influenced them, and you see that kind of the smaller nature of these bands, I think that's when this stuff really works. And it's not to take away from the theatrical stuff, because what Pink's show is, especially during this Beautiful Trauma tour, is nothing short of amazing. She talks about how she was in the harness thing, and how you see her lift up in the air, and just you see all the fans and how they react to her music and stuff like that. It really is a documentary that not only shows the kind of the honest side of Pink, but it also really feels like a documentary also for the fans, which is what these types of documentaries are for. So if you are a huge Pink fan, if you really like her music and you really have a sense of just longing for who she is and what she represents, and especially how she's broken boundaries, like I said, with the LGBT community and the people that feel lost in society, the documentary will really work for you. So if you're a big Pink fan, it's a 100% recommendation. If you want to get to know a little bit more about Pink and who she is, I definitely think it's a recommendation. But just going knowing that this is a very straightforward, standard documentary about a musician that's very, very popular, that has to balance, the fame and the home life. And it's really interesting to see her 2 kids and see, Carrie Hart and how, he kind of gave up the bicycle BMX stuff to be with his kids and so on and so forth. So overall, with my overall take, it's still a fun, entertaining documentary. It's not the best of the musicians I've ever seen, but it's all based on your fandom for this singer that is Pink. And with that said, I still recommend it. So it's definitely worth a watch. It's definitely something that it has some interesting moments. And when it focuses on the family dynamics, I think that's where it really touches the heartstrings of the chords and stuff like that. So, but that'll do it. That'll be my take on this documentary, Pink, All I Know So Far. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments below, what is your take on Pink? Do you really love her music? Do you really feel like you have a connection to her? All that good stuff. What's your favorite song? You know, all that kind of good stuff. But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.